Keeping up with promises takes a lot of energy, and it's often hard. It feels so good thinking about what we want to do with our lives, and just our goals that we want to at least eventually pursue. But, when it comes up time to, okay, I'm finally going to do this, a lot of the times we come up short and not actually do it. And, when it comes to keeping promises, specifically to yourself, you might be wondering, like, why should I take keeping up with my own self-promises seriously outside of, actually doing it? Because it's more than just the black and white, I should just go do my goal because that's what I want to do. There's other benefits to it that a lot of other people often don't realize. When you start building up, starting small, of course, start making these promises to yourself and following through with them, you'll notice over time that as you keep on following through on that promise and keep on building the amount of promises you make yourself and follow through on those too, you're gonna start building up self-trust. And self-trust, it's a thing that you build up over time. If you're in a really negative state, chances are likely you're not gonna feel very good about trusting anything that you say to yourself that you're gonna do. If you always don't do it, you're not gonna have very much trust in your own words, nor are other people. But it's more important that you relay it to your own self. And you know what? Self-trust, if you watched my previous video, I would say it's one of the many keys of life that you need in order to unlock your true self, where there's no friction in pursuing your goals. So what ends up happening is you start making yourself these small promises and fulfill them. And then with time, you slowly build up your self-trust. And once your self-trust really gets high enough, you're gonna have a bunch of energy, specifically internal drive. And what I mean by that is it's not motivation, it's drive. Think of it like motivation, but you're actually going out and doing it every time. And it's not hard either. It just becomes second nature. And another thing I want to talk about is your broken promises. What that does is it slowly disintegrates and destroys your own belief in yourself. One problem I had in my life with my depression was exactly that. I wouldn't ever go through on anything, and it got so bad to a point where it drains your energy, because if you're not giving yourself your trust, you're doing the opposite. You're taking away, from yourself. If there's it's not a neutral standpoint. It's either you're with yourself or you're against yourself, more or less. That's what I've gone to realize through my experience up until this point with suffering and living in this world and experiencing good as well. Whenever you fulfill your own wishes, it always produces something beautiful. Even if it's just something small one time and you go through with it, you're still building something. You build something every time, not with over time. Over time, it builds and builds and builds on top of each other, but you're getting something out of every time you decide to give in to trusting yourself, into allowing yourself to fulfill your promises to yourself. So one thing that's recently entered in my life is confidence. And that comes from, like I've been talking about, just trusting myself and going through with my promises. People think that you have to get confidence a lot of times from other people. There's some people in this world that don't even trust themselves when they're completely right just because someone else denies it. But you know what? You know what's best for you know what's best. But basically, as you fulfill these promises to yourself and you build more self-trust, it gets to a certain point where your self-trust, give it 2 or 3 weeks and you really start to notice, the results of confidence. It really just seeps into your life without you even realizing it. And then one day you just realize oh, wow, I'm doing insanely good now. And this confidence is just helping me so much. So what's cool about that is you're getting a bunch of internal drive from multiple sources. You're getting it from fulfilling your promises, self-trust, you're building evidence for yourself, you're getting confidence, and in turn, I'll say that this makes improving your life and in every moment of every day, giving into relaxation and enjoyment out of life. in every moment of your life, it becomes a lot easier. So do keep your promises to yourself and start working on that part of your life too, as you work on other parts of your life. It may seem in these videos that it may feel, quote unquote, like maybe someone feels like I'm overhyping this, but the thing is I'm not overhyping this at all, because I've been on rock bottom, and I know, how bad emotions can get, and how bad the human condition, can get mentally. And all these small things that you can be working on in your life, it all builds meaning. One of the points I try to come with all these videos is doing these small things in your life is both in a way easy and intensely meaningful, and it just puts so much good in your life, but it just seeps in your life without trying. It's so amazing to work on yourself. It never really ends with self-improvement. You can always work on yourself, and that's awesome. But besides that, what's one promise that you guys have been following through on with yourself recently, even if it's really small, that you feel proud of yourself about? And besides that, though, I really appreciate you guys watching as always. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out.